What's up? This is Michael, Treeline Backpacker. Today we're looking at something quite a bit different than what you're used to. Today we're actually looking at a longboard from Landyachtz. This is called the Top Cat. This is a 38-inch long model. A lot of you probably don't know, but as long as I've been hiking and backpacking, I've also been biking and skateboarding and longboarding and doing all sorts of things. So I have over 2 decades of experience on these things. So I figured I picked up this new board, may as well share my experiences with it. This is a fairly radical design. It's really unlike anything I've been on before. So I wanted to, I guess, be one of the first ones to really talk about it on video. It is a wild shaped board. If we come down looking at just the design here, it is a drop board. So if you take a look up here at the front, the wood does drop down, so that's where the drop comes from, but also has this dramatic curve inside the board. That's called a rocker, and that's going to get you lower to the ground, improve your balance, and it also gives it a little bit of extra flex. I don't know if you can tell, but just pushing with my hand there, this board actually does flex. It's a very flexy board. The drops here, they're nice to kind of shove your foot against the front, gives you an idea of where your feet are on the board. Of course, you got the cutout on the grip tape. Same thing on the back. It doesn't really look like it, but this is a directional board. So it is designed to be ridden with this in the front. And if you ride it backwards, it does feel a bit funky. That's mostly just because this board is shaped with slightly different angles in the front versus the back. Now coming down low, these are Plow King wheels. And I don't actually remember what bearings are in here. But they are high ABEC rated with integrated sleeves. Pretty good bearings. They roll nice and fast. The wheels are smooth. They are a softer compound. They track pretty well, but I have found the combination of those with this deck to be a little bit slippery. I can actually make it break loose, so it's very little effort. These are the trucks. These are Bear 6 trucks. Kind of a reverse kingpin design, very carvy. You do have a spacer under there. We'll take a look at the side. This is a maple board. Haven't counted the plies, but you can see them here. Now it does have a concave while we're looking at the top, so it does curve this way, which helps lock your feet in place. Now this is the bottom side of the board. It's a nice graphic. Sorry, apologize for the messy workbench here. Better look at the trucks. Very well built. I've been pretty impressed with these. These are 150 millimeter wide, so not super wide, but they are very snappy and carvy, which is a good combination for this deck. Because this is really designed to be a carving deck. It's designed to be a little bit twitchy. It's fairly stable, not crazy stable, but it does carve really well. The experience riding this thing has been pretty wild. The first time I got on it, basically dropped the board, took off on it, and fell over the front. And the reason for that is the steep front. I don't know how much this shows up on camera, but when you put your foot here, your foot is actually angled back a little bit, which I'm very not used to on a longboard. Typically, your board is going to be either very flat with no rocker, or it's going to arch up, something like a loaded Vanguard, and it's going to flex into it. That carving up at first really gave me a hard time. You do feel, in my opinion, a loss of efficiency when you're pushing the board. Not too bad. You can get used to it, but you do have to get used to putting your foot weight just a little bit back. If you're used to really hanging over the nose and pushing really hard like I am, that's going to give you a little trouble. The rocker, you don't really feel once you're on the board, except for the fact that you just feel really snug in the board. You feel like you're almost strapped to it. That mild concave does aid that a little bit. I've really had no problem staying on this guy, even just sliding, standing upright, crouching, whatever I'm doing, really locked in there. Feels really good. The combination of the flex, the soft wheels, that rocker, the softer materials and the wood itself, feels really good to ride. It is very whippy. When I'm pumping this, just carving, even upright, just normal carving, I can make these back wheels break loose really easy, which is not something I've never came across, but it is a little slipperier than I'm used to. I can literally just great traction carving, left, right, just sliding the entire way. So this has the most snowboard-like feel of anything I've ever ridden. So that is something. If you're into that kind of thing, you may like this. Now I have run into one problem with the board. You see here, I'm actually rubbing some of the graphic off on the deck. I'm doing that just by carving. Now I don't know if everyone's going to have that trouble. I'm an aggressive carver, only weigh about 170 pounds, but where this is so low to the ground and the deck is so flexy, I'm actually able to, on flat land, bring that all the way to the ground and just dig into the concrete. So that is something to keep in mind. I don't know if that's intentional. Maybe this board's a little softer than they anticipated, or maybe they need to back off on this rocker just a little bit. But that is going to happen. I don't know if you can see, but there are some scuffs right in the middle too. So it's not just a problem with the corner there. That is my, I guess that's going to be my dominant hillside for the most part. I have touched the other side just a little bit, but I didn't lose any graphic. Another thing to keep in mind is where this is so low to the ground. If you're grabbing the board into a deep turn, you can get really close to the concrete just by holding on to the bottom. I've actually been even leaning away from this edge, holding onto it. I felt my gloves like touch the concrete several times, just coming over like little nooks and rocks and things. So definitely wear gloves if you're going to be grabbing the board, if you're carving really hard on this. Anything else to talk about there? That's pretty much it on that front. It is a little, I'm not going to say unstable, but it can feel unstable just because the combination of the Bear 6 trucks, which engage very quickly, the steep rocker being so low to the ground, the drop versus a drop through where the deck actually comes through and mounts to the top, the trucks anyway, this gives you more leverage. So the combination of all these things with the narrow trucks, the narrow axles, it's just very, I guess, twitchy. So you have to be a little careful on it when you're first learning it. But it does seem to be fairly stable, at least 20, 25 miles an hour. That's not too bad. You can tighten down the trucks, which makes a big difference. The default tightening that it came in was very wobbly. Had to tighten it down, probably a full turn, maybe more, and that helped. It didn't really help me with digging into the corners when I'm riding, but maybe if you tighten it down more, that'll fade away. Me personally, I'm going to keep it loose because this is a carving board. It's not a downhill board. That's not my goal. So I'm going to kind of deal with that. I'm going to reach out to Landyachtz to see what they say, if that's expected or not. I almost view that as a defect, but they may not because, physics are what physics are. But that is the Landyachtz Top Cat. There is a drop cat out there if you don't want to deal with this. I quite like that. I love being able to dig my feet up against it. So if you're like, emergency breaking into the grass or something, you're going to be more locked on. You can get real low to the ground, drag your feet really easy to brake. That all feels really nice. It's a good board. It does take a little bit of getting used to, especially pushing, like literally just kicking off with the board to make it go feels really weird at first. I'm going to post some videos of me riding it. You don't want to take this into a skate park. You're going to bottom it out everywhere. But if you're just cruising sidewalks, getting around town, trying to go some long distance skating, that kind of stuff, just out carving, this is a really nice design. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm going to post some more. I may do a written review where I'm a little better collected. I'll probably have some more thoughts there. I've only got, 3 or 4 hours on this guy, so nothing crazy. But yeah, I like it. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And as always, appreciate you watching, especially this kind of content, which is new to the channel. If you like this, let me know. If you don't, maybe I'll do it anyway. That's all. Just having fun out here. But yeah, you guys have a great day.